here we have the forthcoming line from WizKids called FrameWorks. And FrameWorks are sprue-based minis. Now, what are sprues? Right? So it's like Warhammer, where you have options. Look at, you have options on how to build the minis. For example, this wizard. You could have a bold pate or a turban. You could be holding a staff or wielding magic, an empty hand or a rod, right? So there's options on these minis. Now, I let my son build these, and we'll take a closer look at them, and you can see what they're like. Each mini comes with instructions and a clear base, which is great. A lot of them don't need it, so you could use them for other minis. But let's jump in and take a look first at this wizard. You can see how this one was built. Now, they're more lightweight than the premium pre-painted minis or the minis that come in the booster sets for the series for Icons of the Realms. But the detail is really excellent, and you have options to customize. So here you've got this wizard. That's pretty cool. Let's move on, shall we? So I largely just let my son make his own determination on how to build these. He didn't do this one like on the box, and I think that's how I would have preferred it. You know, you have your options, right? Which are pretty cool. Look, dragon helm, other gear, shield, sword. He went with the sword. I like the shield and spear with a dragon helm. That's okay. This one still looks, I mean, they both look great. And that's the beautiful thing about having the options. Here you have this female dwarf barbarian. You know, if this were Tolkien's world, she'd have a beard. With that haircut, she'd look like Mr. T. But look at the options. Like, I love that helmet. Reminds me of a Valkyrie. And the cloak is great. Fur cloak, but then there's backpack. I'm more of a fan of single weapon rather than dual wielding. So I like the build with the massive great weapon. To me, that looks better. And as you can see, the base, this mini and a lot of them don't need to stand on those clear plastic bases. But those clear plastic bases come in use in other places, you know, when you're painting up minis. But this is a good mini. She looks fierce, and I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that massive weapon. Here we have a human monk, and this mini is really cool. It's always cool to have interesting monks and, you know, and different options. I like the hood rather than bare head. I think it looks cooler. And check this one out. You've got this monk with his staff carrying supplies. And look at his flurry of blows with the translucent plastic. So it looks like his hands moving with great rapidity as he's striking. This is an outstanding monk mini. Now, I mean, they painted, you know, the design scheme here is like kind of like a white or silvery beard. He's a silver fox. But really, again, you can paint them how you like. You can use the different pieces and assemble them and really get more of a customizable experience when making, you know, a mini for your player character or for an NPC perhaps. Got an elf ranger. You could go for the drizzed vibe here. Paint it as a drow or whatever kind of elf. Look at, I love the options. Look at the flowing hair. So it belongs on the cover of a romance novel, like Harlequin, right? The hood, I'm a big fan of hoods. You got the capes. So let's see what my son did to put together this elf ranger. Okay, so he went more classic. You can even get adventurous and string the bow. The bow looks very elvish. I like the cape, and look at the detail on the backpack and quiver. And the hood. This is an outstanding elf mini. Now, my son's got all the gear and glue and clippers and everything, so that's why he was putting these together for me. And they all come, you know, in the little pieces attached to, you know, the plastic, and you just clip them off and assemble as you will. And a night hag here with her cauldron looks summoning. There's magic coming out. She's holding an apple. And again, as with all of them, there are some options. Look at that. Like a gingerbread man coming out with a lolly. There's some pastries, lots of cool little options. And here is what my son did. You have to love that translucent arcane effect. You know, you put some technical paint on there, and you know, and it shows through it. You'll have like a color, but it'll be, you know, translucent as well. And then look at this little gingerbread man. And you could put this guy, glue him onto a translucent small base, and then you've got a excellent little cookie golem. That'd be pretty cool. Look at this one. This is a big pack. These range in prices. Some are more expensive than others. Imagine this one is a little heftier in price. I mean, it comes with, you know, what, 7 minis? Check out these orcs. Maybe you like the way they look here. But like the others, there's options. And maybe you'll make them differently. They come, like some of the cool things they come with are these spikes with skulls on them and such. And you can see, let's take a look at what my son did. You know, this one, for example, I think I'm gonna paint up, not even like an orc. I'm just gonna make him like a gladiator. Look at the hand around his neck. But you could paint him up. These are really excellent minis to add to your orc horde. Woe to the dwarf whose head is separated from his shoulders. And one of the cool things, I mean, I know that Warhammer has all their orcs and their minis, their sprue-based minis that you can assemble, but what makes these great is that you actually have officially licensed D&D monsters that look like D&D design work. You know, there is, you know, some repeated designs you know, in this particular box set, but that I think only stands to reason given that this is an orc warband. I mean, they're presumably from the same tribe, so there has to be some uniform nature to their appearance. This is one of my favorite ones, this dwarf fighter. Look at that with the lantern and the great hammer and the helm. The only disappointing thing about this particular one is I would have liked there to be a helmet on this dwarf head without the face mask as an option, rather than just the only option for a helmet was with the face mask. I mean, you can see, I mean, it is a tremendous dwarf mini, but he looks a little bit naked there, right? Like he needs a helmet. But look at that face. You'd want to see the face. So this particular one, you know, I would like to have seen, like, you know, a helm that revealed his face rather than just those two options. So I mean, there are some limitations, and you have to make some hard choices, right? In this particular case, I'd rather have his face seen than just to put on the face mask. But I don't know, maybe if you want to do it this way and you've got like this particular dwarf showing up to an eyes wide shut party. I don't know. Maybe that's the turn your campaign will take. This human warlock mini, wow, look at that. Look at the detail on the chest and that face. This is super. And that magic summoning something. This is another one where you could definitely pick up two of these and make totally different minis. So let's compare, for example, this one. This is kind of how I like it. Let's see what my son did. He did a more with a hat and look, a blade. And again, I love the translucent plastic so that you can really create some cool arcane effects. So as you can see, this warlock is quite different than this one. So you could have a couple of these packs and have different minis. Here you have the Mind Flayer, and look at that staff. That's disgusting. And you have options. Say it comes with options and a little companion. Now, what's cool about this particular head is we're seeing a pose we don't really see, you know, or haven't seen, with his tentacled mouth flaring out in anger or hunger, anticipation of what's to come. He's got a brain in his hand. So this is I like that we're getting something that we haven't seen before. And look, you can see better in this this image. Look, his feet are off the ground. He's drifting and floating using his psionic power. Here we have a white. I like that this white doesn't have any weapons in his hands. Almost all the whites that are made have weapons. I like, look at, you have a couple options for faces and arm positioning. Now, my son went with a sword. Maybe he was thinking like some Game of Thrones action, you know, with that. But look at the awkward way the legs are positioned, you know, how the undead, you know, their limbs are often bent in ways that aren't natural. And it comes with this really cool little accessory piece. Maybe this was what this undead looked like in life, but it's a very cool little piece. I love it. So the Ghast and Ghoul pack actually comes with 2 figures for you to make and some accessories. Love the gravestone accessories. Love that particular head. And these long lolling tongues. Now, my son opted to make these without the tongues. And that's okay. They could still be ghouls and ghasts, or zombies, or whatever else you like. But it's, you know, you can almost never have too many of these figures. And let's see, these are so detailed. Look, that one is holding a torn off arm, and you see, you know, back here it looks like a pommel of a sword, but really it's the bone sticking out. And it comes with the gravestone accessories, right? It's a nice little addition to add, and then you get some terrain in there with this pack. The Ghoul and Ghast pack. So we've got an ogre. And you know what? I love the way the ogres look. Their pallid flesh. This one's got arrows stuck in it, but you have some options. Classic ogres, you know, have the club, and that is really cool. But it's great to have some options. Look, brass knuckles. This is another one where I think you want to pick up 2 of these so you can make 2 entirely different ogres. My son went with the look on the cover mostly here, right? But put on this headdress. He went this way because I don't have any ogres that are swinging like a ball and chain and this massive spear, but this is a really terrific ogre to add to your collection. Because ogres are kind of wimpy in 5e, so you could throw a bunch of them at your players to challenge them. I've saved the best for last. Look at this. This is a hill giant. And out of the gate, one of the things that I love best is look how flabby the hill giant is. Usually, a lot of the minis, when they're flabby, they're like arms and chest are really ripped and defined, but the rest of them are kind of fat, and it just doesn't make sense, because unless you're really, you know, watching your macros and you know, keeping your nutrition tight, you don't have a low percentage body fat in some places and then, you know, flab in others. So I appreciate just how flabby this guy is. Look around his knees and belly and his chins. And again, so you have a lot of cool options here on this giant. But look, he's got like a cart over him, and well, let's just go down and take a look, because we did it really just like the cover. Look, this flabby giant, and look, this cow. It's like, please don't eat me. Well, you don't have a choice, buddy. You got a cart draped over his shoulder. And check out that face. Again, this is my favorite one out of the preview ones that I've been sent. There are, of course, a number of other ones that will be coming out in March that look incredible. So this, you know, you've got a new line of minis. If you like constructing models and you like versatility and variety, then I say these are definitely for you. I happen to like having options. I always talk about versatility. I love versatility. So you could make, you know, with some of these, again, you could definitely get in and make multiple versions and have them appear like different ones. Look at the detail that they're going with. He's got a ham and a hand. There's a keg. I'm not sure why he's got a bell. Maybe it's his dinner bell, which would ring all the time. And based on his flabby build, you know, this guy's dinner is all the time. he puts hobbits to shame. All right, so I think that WizKids has another hit with their minis. Listen, I love minis. Minis are like crack for nerds. You know, you can never feel like you get enough of them. So particularly if you like building models, you like the versatility, and you like painting, you find it relaxing, it's your hobby, then you're really gonna love these. So check them out. They come out in March. Links below. You can pre-order or pick them up when they come in at your favorite mom and pop shop.